Chapter 2. The Grant Children. The first children to come to the home of Robert and Lucy Grant were twin girls, Eva and Neva. 2 years later, a boy, Harry, was born to them. 2.5 years more, and another son, Edgar, made his appearance. 3 years later, a little daughter, Pansy, came as a real sunshine in the home. The twins were now not quite 8 years of age. Lucy was an ideal mother to her little flock in spite of her extreme poverty. She had hoped as the children began coming into the home that Robert would see the need of reforming, especially when she bore him a son. But strong drink had won the mastery, and many nights were spent by her alone with her little flock. Lucy had always been of strong character, but motherhood developed within her rich graces, which had been entirely hidden heretofore, and she lived an exemplary life before her children. They grew up in the atmosphere of love and fear. They feared the big, broad-shouldered man who walked through the house with heavy tread, whose voice never carried a kind expression, and whose violent outbursts of temper often made them seek a hiding place. Well, they might fear him for many times when he was so enraged. They had felt the weight of his heavy hand upon them in an abusive way. But much as they feared the father, they loved the good, kind little mother who never failed to tuck them away at night with a goodnight kiss, speaking comforting words to them after brutal treatment from the hand of their father. The children were unlike, differing in appearance and disposition, even to the twins. This was noticeable in them from birth. Eva, the larger at birth, inherited the looks and disposition of her mother, while Neva was the image of her father, inheriting his disposition also. This made her a favorite with him as well as with his people. If presents were given to them by the father's relatives, care was taken to give Neva something nicer than that given to Eva. On one occasion, an aunt presented each of them with a brooch pin. Neva's was a beautiful pin of considerable value, while Ava's was very plain and of very little value. The price for such a pin could not have exceeded 25 cents. Eva received her pin, and thanking her aunt very kindly, went to her room immediately, where her mother found her some time later weeping as if her childish heart would break. Guessing the cause for such grief, she gathered the child in her arms, and while her own voice shook with emotion, said, "Don't cry, Eva dear. Remember, Mama loves you if no one else does." "Yes, Mama, but you love Neva too, just as much as you do me, don't you?" sobbed the child. "Surely I love Neva," replied the mother. "But Eva is the little girl I can always trust. I can always depend on her. She has never disobeyed me. Isn't that worth more than all the brooch pins Auntie could have given you?" These words were effective, healing the little heart, and Eva wiped away her tears, washed her face, and with a smile of happiness upon her face, went to play with the other children. Her heart sang all the time, "My mama trusts me." At school, the different dispositions of the Grant twins were most noticeable. Neva's high temper often got her into trouble, and as Eva was known to be her twin, the anger of her schoolmates often extended to her, and she very often had to suffer for some things Neva had done, though she herself was entirely innocent. But Eva was a studious child and made rapid progress in her studies, being promoted to the 5th grade at a very early age. Being so studious and obedient made her a great favorite with her teachers, and she escaped many punishments which her sister Neva received. How diligently she studied, for she was desirous to learn. When Pansy was 3 years of age, she contracted a fever, and as Eva had always been nurse girl for her, she was continually by her side, relieving her mother that she might attend to other duties about the house. For several weeks Pansy lay a little sufferer, and one evening as Eva and her mother sat by the little crib, they saw a contraction of her muscles, a shrug of her little shoulders, a faint gasp, and the little sufferer passed away. Death had stolen in and claimed her unexpectedly as they sat watching. Then came the funeral, the laying away of the little body in the cemetery, the coming home to see the little playthings, the dresses, and the little crib, which always brought memories of the little one who was really the sunshine in the home. She had been very much like Eva in disposition and, therefore, a pet and favorite with her, though no tears came to Eva's eyes. There was a heaviness in her childish heart which took away her appetite, and in a few days Eva too was smitten with the same affliction. For weeks she lay under the scorching fever, but rallied at last. There were no more rosy cheeks for her, no more romping and playing with the children. for the fever had left her body in such a weakened condition she had to be cared for as a hothouse plant. Living so far from school, she was unable to attend, so must remain at home. Many times, as she watched the little brothers and sisters start off to school carrying their dinner pails, while she had to remain at home, she would burst into tears. But although thus handicapped, she did not fail to apply herself, and in that way, she did not fail to keep up with her class at school. Eva's affliction made life all the harder for Lucy Grant, for she had depended upon her so much, and now must shield the child in every way she could. And of course all the responsibility fell upon the mother.